I hear Waverly gasp lightly at the second sentence. Can you tell him that I'm sorry too? Sure. And hey, wiping my mouth at the back of my hand, I look back at the paramedic over my shoulder. Feel better, okay? I mean, even more better. I don't want this getting to you. You should visit one of the counselors once you're able to. Don't keep it all inside. I look eyes with her for a time, but eventually turn back to the rancid fumes of my puke. Yeah, that's painting a lovely image in my mind. I'll try. I can feel her smiling. Good. Hopefully I won't be seeing you, girl. I hear her footsteps as she turns to leave. Take good care with her, okay? Of course. The door opens, and in another second closes. I kneel in front of the toilet and retch a bit, wondering whether or not I'll be vomiting again. If this damn saliva will have anything to do with it, I'll make certain that I do. So gross. In nearly a minute, the sound of soft movement closes in on me from behind. Do you want me to rub your back at all? Actually, yes, I think that would help. Waverly doesn't hesitate to tiptoe to my side and bend down. She starts massaging me with one hand up and down between my shoulder blades. The feeling is great, much appreciated. I feel a little more like throwing up now, which, come to think of it, ironically enough, is all I really want. Retching is seriously so much worse than just letting it all out. Thank you. No, it's nothing. Can you talk at all? Something comes up, but doesn't come to pass. Again, I heave a few more times before answering her. I don't think I can hold much of a conversation. Try nodding, then. I'll ask you yes or no questions. How'd your mediation go? You do it? I began to move and to shake my head, but stopped, because I sort of did do it. Cyrus and I really did remedy the situation. Leaning my neck right, I kind of shrug. After all, even if we managed to succeed, it led to such an awful failure that, well, does it really matter? I have no idea what what that is. Like, you don't know? How don't you know? Did you get knocked out? I shake my head. Then it's like complicated? I nod. We managed to resolve a conflict. Not the actual conflict, but an urgent one. Oh crap. I hurl again, nearly pushing my head past the lid. When it's over, I rest my arms on the seat, and then head in my hands. Waverly, frowning, continues to rub my back nicely. You alright? I can't really answer past barely nodding my head. Then I guess something bad happened after that. I repeat the same head movement. Waverly pauses, clearly not sure whether or not to say what she wants to say next. She eventually chooses yes. How bad? I look at her. Somehow my silence and gaze convey the message. For a moment she stops massaging me and looks me in the eyes with a nearly empty expression, one of repressed sadness and of worry. Continuing her massage, she goes direct. What happened? The world ended. Still rubbing me, her expression goes indecipherable. If I had to take a guess, the closest thing I'd call it is scared. For several minutes, she stays with me and keeps me relaxed, until I'm finally done with vomiting and ready to do something else. Waverly leaves the bathroom and allows me to sit on the toilet rather than in front of it, closing the door. I don't know how long it's been, but it seems to be finally over. After I brush my teeth and scrub my skin, I feel as though I'm actually done. Not better, though, not by any means. In fact, when I open the door, I nearly collapse. Surprisingly, Waverly is there ready to catch me. All done? I nod. Want to go to bed now? Yeah. Then get walking. Dragging you across the room doesn't make me feel right. I can't really walk. Waverly frowns at my lack of an answer and soon pulls me to my bedside. She then hoists me up and drops me on the mattress. You brought that on yourself. She looks at me sternly for a second before snickering. You're a wicked person. I can't believe this abuse. I run a strict ship. I'm like a fairy tale orphaner. The evil one that everyone hates. I really have no idea what you're talking about. I was actually reading some of her foreign libraries, and there's a lot of stories about orphan abuse. Why would you hate orphans? That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's why they're evil. She smiles. Want to sleep now? Yeah, well, no, but I think I should. I feel like a pile of dirt. Alright, I'll turn off the light. I nod a thanks and look up at the ceiling as the room falls to darkness. I hear Waverly enter the bed with a squeak. Hey, yeah? What happened to Cyrus? Wasn't he your mentor today? He saved me from the explosion of glass. The last time I saw him, he was irritated and bleeding. Waverly lets off a breathy whistle. Man, how did all that even happen? I wish it was a long story, but it's not. It was very quick, actually. It all happened so fast. It's just that there were a lot of things to it. It got really hard, and turned into a thing it wasn't supposed to be. I could have left, but I didn't. I wanted to do something myself. I sigh. I'll tell you more tomorrow morning at breakfast. How was your shadowing? Compared to yours, it already sounds boring. I think all of ours were supposed to be boring. I went to a city and looked for a group of people who allegedly didn't exist. They did, and we found them hiding in the shadows. You went to a place with a malleable physics? No, it was rigid. It was some kind of science or something. And man, don't ask me how, because I've got no idea. None. Huh? We both fall silent, but end up chatting again in a minute. I ask her about our classmates and whether or not they've any interesting stories from today. It's mostly told, though, and I find that amusing. For everyone else, this run of shadowing was still as the last. In fact, the most interesting story came from one of our year's most promising students, who didn't even have a shadowing this week. He's part of the group that does it while they're on break. It really is just funny. It's funny because it's all kind of just unpredictable. For some reason, unpredictability is such a silly thing to me, as I lose my ability to speak again. There's so much irony in that, considering today. Gracious, I must be totally losing it. That totally must be the case. The longer I stay here, the stranger I'll become. Huh, oh well. I don't know if I consider that, like, a better ending than the last one. It was good, though. But, I mean, I guess it was kind of better in a way. She doesn't seem as distraught because of it. And, you know, seems to be in a better mental state, at least. As long as, Cyrus is still alright, because we don't really... Well, he should be alright. I don't think, he'd die at the end. I don't know if there's gonna be, more at the end again. There might be. But it seemed a little better than last time, and we got to talk to Barnaby a little bit, so that was interesting to see a little bit more on him. I was surprised Cyrus actually, like, went with Winter's plan, though. I thought he'd be a lot harder to convince. We're gonna have a little scene after, or is that just going to be the end? Last time there was something after this little scene. Yeah, I need to do something. Right, I should do something. A doctor? Nurse? Whatever she was yesterday told me to make sure that Winter ate breakfast and drank liquids. I'm not living up to that responsibility. It's already past 12 and she's still sleeping. Then I should wake her up, right? I don't know. First off, that's really weird. I hardly know her. Secondly, just watching her in bed feels, sketchy. She's curled up in there, looking uncomfortable. I just can't. Frankly, it's cute. Frankly, just having that opinion makes me feel scummy. Whatever. It's probably best if she wakes up on her own. Then again, she's been shivering. She could have a fever. I glance over at her from my desk. Man, I have to check. What is this, 14 hours rest? I set my book face down with care and rise, tiptoeing over to her bedside. She's so small and pathetic, really. She reminds me of this one kid we had back home, a runt. It feels like anything that happens to her is too much. She shivers again, and I have some ideas to warm her up that would likely make our relationship even more awkward. Oh boy. Oh, that would be interesting. Anyway, well, I need to at least touch her forehead to make sure she's alright. Or it's not, I guess. It's actually a bit cool. She sweat out a lot last night, looks like. So I imagine any fever she's had is gone now. I pull back my hand. While she's readjusting, I retreat to my desk and pretend to be reading. I hear her sit up, and I flinch a bit in spite of myself. Morning. Is it really? I look over my shoulder and find her rubbing her face and turning to the window. She grumbles, then puts a palm over one of her eyes. How are you feeling? Not much. I mean that I don't feel much of anything. Could be because of the medicine. She nods a little. You seem better. I guess. She abruptly flops down on the mattress after a small silence. I turn back to face my book. It's actually past noon, by the way. I figured. You'll have to settle for lunch instead of breakfast. I consider apologizing, but restrain myself. I wonder if she even wants to eat. I'm guessing no, if the doctor was so insistent that she do so. Are you going back to sleep? I look over my shoulder again. Winter? Out like a light. Great, I'll have to steel myself later and just shake her awake, I guess. I get back to the novel in my hand. No, this is getting intense. I got this book from the World's Library. It's called A Crime of Romance novel. Well, or whatever. It's, not strange to be interested in weird literature, is it? I don't think so, at least. I mean, come on, it's perfectly normal to be interested in unusual things. I just can't read this sort of thing from any earthen source. Nothing this terrible exists. Great, now. Just now? I was just starting to enjoy this. Just getting to the juicy scene, huh? I close my book down and put it down. Though I don't want to get up to answer the door. If it's someone important, like the doctor, then she'll say something. Anyone else would either tarry for a bit, or just keep knocking till they're answered. Oh man, what is this? I've got a feeling. I sigh, I stand from my chair and stretch a bit. Only then do I step over and open the door. V, you've got your nose in some body works again. Reading some pornography again. Answer the door quick, yeah? This is the worst possible visitor. It's like the brightest star has descended right here in the hallway. She's all smiles. I don't need this right now. I don't read pornography, Hyrie. Keckle. I don't want to hear, I really don't want to hear your vile accent right now. She puts on a pretend expression of hurt. You'll insult me at the door. Won't even bloody invite me in. That's a kind of behavior befitting lesser people. Not you. I stare at her. And V? You've got to be honest. I know you delay in entertaining guests for thine own fancy, but you've got to admit to it one day. Admit to what? To what? V, listen. She grabs my shoulder and looks me in the eye through her ridiculous, transparent colored shades. Listen to me. If you're not honest, you'll rot. Rot? Yeah, rot. Hard T. Say, S winning? Winnie in? She could at least remove her hands from my person before she asked for another. You came to see Winter? Her grin returns to a full, obnoxious glory. Yeah, I heard she was fucked up massively. Wish I had been there to see it. Her face flushed with tears. You want to make fun of her? She laughs again, shaking me a bit. Haha, you're killing me. You're B? V, sweet V. Chaos hath made its fun of her already. What more could I do? God, this person talks weird. Like, everyone else here, like, they talk fairly normally, and this person just comes in. It's throwing me off a little bit. She nuked an entire system, man. How'd you even do that? Can't you even, for a second, attempt to resemble a decent human being? V, just said I'm not here to make fun. I just want to see her. Perhaps maybe give her a gaunt little cheeks of poke or two. She's not a gaunt. Her smile vanishes. Hey, you're right, V. Her thighs. Her smile returns. What did she do to fill those thighs? Has she let them give them a squeeze yet? Yet? She's a mess of a girl. Hardly and looks like a girl. But those legs. Who gave her the idea to wear those stockings of hers? Goodness. You sound like a lesbian. Yeah, I'm just admiring another beautiful woman. As a beautiful woman myself. Nothing lesbian about that. Her lips twist a little. She looks right into my eyes. Tell me, who would think of another girl with lustful eyes? Who's the man, Waverly? Ah, but I disagree. Winnie could stand to be much more beautiful, right? Get your bloody hands off me already. She does so. So can I come in now? No. Why on earth not? You're a bastard, Irie. Oi! She points at me. Let's be a bit more subtle here, right? Let's keep it fun. Fun, she says. And hey, I should be allowed in. Winnie's my best friend. She is not. By what authority dost thou make such bold claims? By common sense, you clod. She giggles. Yeah. Girl, don't even begin to talk a mess about my northwestern voice. It's like listening to a breeze. And you're like listening to a cat be drawn and quartered. Oh? Shit, why'd I mention that? I reflexively cover my mouth, as if I can grab back what I've said before it can reach her ears and swallow it back. Her ears prick up a bit. She blinks. Drawn and quartered. What's that? I refuse to answer. Is it some kind of torture? I watch in repulsion as she quietly lifts her thumb to my mouth and gently bites the nail. Nibbling, she sways the rest of her hand in a slow motion. She gives me the slightest smile. Been reading some interesting stuff from the libraries, eh? Old waves? What's the book? Forget it. Tease, I'll find it. If faith. She leans to the door, smirking. She crosses her arms and visibly relaxes. Okay, love. I want you to know that I'm loving this, and I love it dearly, in faith. But I do want to see Winnie. Mercy, this girl is persistent. Didn't I say no? Then can you tell her that I feel bad for her? Do I look like the type to spread lies? Tell her I want to see her. What for? Because I told you to. No, I mean, why do you want to see her? She shrugs. Because it's spelled like what build character be, and I'm a scholar for character study. Grinning again, she adds, though I admit I was interested in her before because she's like a little animal. And don't you want to grab such things up and just eat them? You're coming on too strong. It's suffocating. Me. She stares at me. Her hands cover her chest in mock disbelief. Eventually, she starts to smile. Kako. I wish she would just go away. She drops her hands. Huh, it's too bad for me you're such a powerful gatekeeper. I can't even catch a glimpse of the gray little one from here. I guess I'll be seeing you then, V. Let's hope not. I think the teacher was gonna come around this room a bit later. Which? I'll tell you if I knew. Lovely. Good luck and peace. She finally departs. Right. I return to my desk in a foul mood. I don't even want to pick up this book back up. Waverly, who was that just now? I put my arms on the desk and slouch, resting my cheek against my hand. Irie? Irie? Yeah. She wanted to talk to me. Well, no, probably not. She did want to see you, though. She wanted to. I pause. Well, we all know Irie by now, don't we? I hear some kind of ragged, pulsing breath, which I take from Winter's laugh. We do. She's a character. I put my book back open and begin once more from where I left off. I don't want to bother having her around. I don't want to bother hearing her around. The noise from before repeats with something of greater intensity, leading to coughing. I sigh. I'm sorry, Winter. I'm too amusing for sick people, I guess. You're ridiculous. I'm too wonderful, amazing, astounding. Stop that. I should have chosen to go to a comedy school. You get laughed off the stage in a bad way. You laugh at my jokes and go on to say that. I shouldn't bother helping you out anymore. More ridiculousness. No, I command you. Command me? I command you to open the windows. It's hot. Winter. It's the middle of winter. I do suppose the thermostat's rather high. I start getting up, and there is my smoldering attractiveness to consider, so stifling. Winter Hack laughs again as I go to complete her task. There's something special to be said about people who cause laughter and with intent to breed suffering. Oh, what's that? I open the first window. Wait, let me try to be clever. Opening the second, I begin to return to my seat. It's better to be clever when you're quick on the take, Winter. Oh yes, I was certain I had something there. You've ever gotten the feeling that there's something smart to be said, if only you could figure out what it was? That's what happened. I sit down, looking over at her. How slow are you? I feel like a chilled molasses, except warm. Very slow. By the way, a teacher should be coming around. Which, if I knew that, I'd tell you, lovely. Huh. I should stop that. I already regret saying it once. I can hardly believe she comes from the same continent as I do. The Centerlands are huge. You'd best believe it. Plus, I'm pretty sure that she's somewhat southwestern, with a name like that. Do you all sound like the same in Northwest? Yes, Winter. All 70 million of us talk exactly like me. I'm sorry, it's just got a lot smaller. I smile. Well, honestly, the regional differences are nothing compared to the differences between Westerns here and you middle folk. At least our worst dialect is still understandable. Understandable? I can understand Irie just fine, actually. I can't. It's pretty hard. I let out an exaggerated groan. Please, I don't need any more talk like that in my life. I can I just can understand it, that's all. I didn't say that I'd reproduce it. I laugh a bit. She seems to have gotten more energetic, even if she is still lying in bed. It's good we're friendly, even if I do hesitate to take care of her. Having such a poor roommate sounds like the worst. Winter Harrison's place. Coming. As I get up, I smile at Winter. Bet on who it is. I don't even know their voices yet. Think it's our combat instructor? Southern is an ancient, Winter. It sounds more like Henry. She pulls up the covers over her face a bit, and a small show of embarrassment. Adorable, but enough dallying. Hello, Mr. Penn. I was right. Good day, Waverly. How are you? Fine, sir. Oh, Waverly's here. Isn't that... Waverly, it's been weeks since I last saw you. A bitter few weeks. So you've been fine, eh? Yes, sir. My first mentor, what's he doing here with Henry? You know, seeing them side by side, they really dress alike. Very stylish and very sharp. You mentioned this child. You mentored this child. Can you believe it? They gave me the simplest jobs, only because I'm so young. There are plenty of reasons for it, Walter. Plenty of bullshit. I've done all the measures better than that. What was it we did, Waverly? I totally forgot. It was so boring. Our first mediations are apparently always supposed to be really easy and unfortunately lame. Long term, low danger. I think it had something to do with Earth, like moving dirt. It was incredibly stupid. I think it was construction issues. I stand corrected. There's nothing that can solve that, Henry. Playing in the mud, right? That's totally the pinnacle. Don't be a smartass, Walter. Walter's one of the more bizarre things I've encountered since becoming a mediator. And he's from Earth. I can't actually peg him down at all. He's the only thing I clearly remember about my first mediation. I know. Anyway, we didn't come to pester my protege. Winter Harrison, right? That's right. Is she in Waverly? Yeah, but... Don't worry. You don't need to get her. Go get her. I just wanted to relay some things. Harrison. Was that Cyrus's girl? Yes, from the dead world. You're here with the girl who went through that. Yes. Walter puts on a strange, somewhat negative expression, and places a hand on his hip, pursing his lips. He looks at me. Then he looks past me into the room. I just kind of avoid his eyes. I don't know what Cyrus was doing. His report was nonsense. Walter. Nonsense, Henry. His explanation. What went down? It's horseshit. I don't want to hear it. How did he manage to fuck things up so massively? There were simple checks to go through. I know he's all about getting it over with, but they were just children's mistakes, and he ruined a child. For them. I'm going to need to talk with him later. Will you come? He doesn't listen to anything I say. If you don't persist with numbskulls, they never will. Even though he's the top tier mediator, I don't think I've ever heard any other mediators go along without talking mess about Cyrus. I'm a little pissed off with him too. Not that I entirely know what went down. The death of an entire world. I wonder what they'll say about it when we have next have class. I wonder how many other students will know about it. There's so many worlds though, so many planes. Maybe they won't bother. What's one more loss? I don't know what I'm thinking. While I'm musing over my cruelly dismissive thoughts, a white square of paper moves into my eyesight. Looking up, I see that the letter's being held by Henry. Give this to Mr. Saracen, would you? I take it. On the front, it reads, for whenever it's too much to bear, read this, Henry Penn. Tell her to expect a meeting with me later as well. I nod. Glancing briefly inside, Henry bends to my ear and speaks in a whisper. Presently, I won't offer my condolences or words for her, as it would be rude for me to assume her state. I'd prefer to talk to her directly, you see. He puts a hand on my shoulder. If this has affected you, as it might fairly likely have, you know where my office is. He straightens up and looks at his watch. I rotate my shoulder a little. If it's Winter, right? I nod. Yes. Make sure that Winter thinks about what happened. Everything that happened. This isn't something to run away from. I nod slowly. The same goes for you, Mr. Sayer. He pokes my nose at the tip, and I wiggle it in irritation. What is with these men and touching? Walter smirks at me. Weirdo. Let's get going, Walter. Alright. Henry nods with this departure. Walter smiles and waves. I close the door. I stretch out again and look at Penn's letter. Who was it? My first mentor and... I look over at her, and Henry, he wrote you a letter. I draw attention to said letter by raising it a bit and flapping it lightly. Your first mentor? Walter Len. Something Western. Moving to her bedside, I hand her the letter. I don't think you should read it yet. Winter looks it over carefully and gives it a light shake. She frowns. Me neither. I hesitantly allowed myself a smile. That's good, right? It's for when things become too much to bear. I wiggle my fingers with joking emphasis. Yeah. Resting the letter on the bed, she goes quiet. You need to eat, girl. She grimaces at me. Do I really? Yes, now come on. I reach down and she grudgingly extends her arms, embracing me around the back of my neck. I pick her up in my arms. What is this? I don't want to walk. You need to walk. I only picked you up since you didn't put your feet to the floor when I moved in. I'm just really lethargic. I don't want to move around at all. And I've got this wicked cough. You can stand, can't you? I'm not kidding. At least just to the door. That's embarrassing. Totally embarrassing. I don't want to be seen like this. Please, Waverly. Kickle, no. You've been lying in bed long enough. Down you go. I begin to lower her, and she moans in complaint. Man, this girl's too light. Feels like I'm barely holding anything. After whining a bit more, she relinquishes and carefully stands. I help her to the door and pause to let her stretch her legs a little. Are you good? She's quivering and everything. I think I'm fine. Just let's get going. Come on, I'll hold on to you at least. Thanks. I need that, I think. Oh, we didn't get a chance to see how Cyrus was doing this time at least. But I guess I'll save this as a different one. Doesn't really matter though, since it's not a second game.